Mom, can we have a Peq15?
No, we have Peq15 at home. All you talk about when we're out and about is real Peq this. I want a real Peq. Let's go get a real Peq. Look, we have a Peq right here. What are you complaining about?
But Mom, this isn't a real Peq.
The Somogear Peq15/LA5. Today we're going to be talking about the Somogear Peq and LA5 clone. This is kind of a controversial IR laser aiming module among the firearms and night vision community. I've had this one for a little bit and I'm going to talk about it today. The Somogear Peq and LA5 clone is a clone of the L3 Harris Peq15. This one specifically is a clone of the updated version of that, which is called the LA5. Functionally, there isn't a whole lot of difference. There's a couple extra modes right here on the sweeper dial. There's some guards covering the windage and elevation adjustments for the illuminator, but that's about it. These devices are Chinese clones marketed only for airsofters, but lately, the past couple years, there have been a lot of people with real steel firearms and night vision using these because they are full power. That's the big selling point that the Somogear has. If you weren't aware, the FDA says that any laser that outputs more power than 5 milliwatts is restricted for civilians. So we can only purchase lasers that are less than 5 milliwatts. Now, this isn't just for infrared lasers. This is for any laser. That's why when you go to the store to buy a laser pointer for your cat, it's going to be a civilian power laser because the FDA limits that. It's not illegal to possess a laser greater than 5 milliwatts. Lots of people have lasers that are that powerful, and there's lots of lasers in commercial devices that are more powerful than 5 milliwatts, but they're used for commercial uses or something like that. I'm not entirely sure how Somogear gets away with selling these. It's not really a secret anymore. Everybody knows about these. They know what they do. They know why they sell them. And they're still shipping and coming straight to your door. Now, not to worry. Like I said, these are legal for civilians to own. It's just illegal for manufacturers to sell them to civilians. So the manufacturer of these could get into trouble selling them. Or if you have your LLC or whatever else is the case, you're not supposed to be selling these to civilians either. The main thing about these clone Peq15s and LA5s that everybody's concerned about is their ability to hold zero and their ability to be rugged. Lots of people on different forums, Reddit, and social media have been talking about how their Peq15s, their Somogear Peq15s, have not been holding zero or been breaking on them. When I was first testing this one out, it seemed to be holding zero just fine. I had it on a Mark 18 and it was working great until it wasn't. The zero did shift on this and I couldn't tell where it had gone. I was out shooting under night vision and all of a sudden I was not hitting the steel that I was aiming at. I did have to end up re-zeroing the laser and it did hold, but after that one instance, I kind of just took it off my rifle and I don't think I'm going to be using this again. It is unfortunate to say because these come in at an extremely, extremely cheap cost of about $250 to $300, which compared to the real deal Peq15 or even an Atpile C, which I have examples of both, those are coming in at $1,500 to $2,000. So I can understand why people wanted this to work so bad, including myself. I wanted this to work so bad. And to be fair, it does work. It's just not very good. Right now, I'm going to roll in a shot of the Somogear Peq15 under night vision just so you can see what I'm talking about. The illuminator on this clone is very, very powerful. It's plenty powerful for what you're going to do, and it is adjustable. The biggest complaint that I have with the illuminator is that the beam on it is very, very narrow. So as you're seeing in the video, this is the widest that I could possibly expand the illumination on the Somogear Peq15. Now you can crank it down from there, but there's not a whole lot of utility in cranking it any more down than its widest beam divergence. Ideally, you'd like to have a setting with a very large flood and something that can get down very small so that you can illuminate farther away. This illuminator is not able to do that. And for that reason, I think the illuminator is subpar. The power level is on point, but the illumination itself is subpar. Now talking about the laser is plenty powerful. It has a tight beam, a dot. It's extremely bright under night vision on the high power setting, and the low power setting is bright enough to be shooting under, and honestly very comparable to a real deal Peq15. The construction of this device is a little questionable as well. The plastic just feels like that Chinese cheap plastic. It doesn't have the same feel and the same aesthetic as the real deal Peq15 or at Pile C. And all in all, just feels like a cheaper unit. The clicks on the elevation and windage adjustments just aren't as tactile as the real unit. The metal that they use for the QD mount just doesn't feel as good. And I understand I'm just giving you subjective information. That's all that I have. I can only speak to this specific unit. And it doesn't feel like the real thing. In terms of ergonomics, it's exactly identical to an LA5. You have your different mode selection down here, which you can go from your Viz modes all the way over to your IR modes. And then the fire button is directly on top right here, just like any other Peq15 or LA5. I will say that the crane plug in the back does actually accept crane adapters. I do have one right here. This is the one that came with my at Pile C. This one is from L3 Harris directly. So you take your crane plug it in back here, flip off your cover, put it into the visible setting, and you'll see behind me right here, there's the laser. That's low power Viz laser, but the crane plugs do work. This model also does come with 2 blue screws, just like a real LA5 would. One for the visible settings and one for the IR settings. I generally leave mine out because I only really use these in the high power modes if they have them available, unless there's a specific instance where I wouldn't. It takes a CR123 battery, just like a real Peq. All in all, guys, I don't need to be the one to tell you that the hype on this thing was real. I wanted it to work so bad, and so many people wanted it to work, because you're talking about 10% the price of a real unit offering more capability. And that was the promise that the Somogear Peq15 gave, and it absolutely did not live up to that promise. If you're an airsoft player and you want something to put on your Airsoft Mark 18 or M4 build, this would be great for that. One reason why I would say you should be really, really careful with this is because you can really hurt somebody with one of these if you don't know what you're doing. If you have your blue screws out and you're playing airsoft and you have this on the high power Viz mode or even the high power IR mode, and you have an ND of your IR device right into somebody's face, you will blind them. This is a full power laser, and because of that, it's extremely dangerous. The only reason I think you should buy one of these is for aesthetic purposes, or if you're brand new into night vision and this is legitimately the only thing that you can afford, get one, but understand that it is not going to be reliable and that you're going to have issues with it at some point along its lifespan. I've heard of people having these and having little to no issues or just a small zero shift from time to time. For me, that's a big deal. I want to make sure I can depend on my gear, that it's quality stuff. But if you're somebody who's brand new into night vision and this is all you can afford and all you can train with, I mean, go ahead. But I would say start saving your money, save that $250 and try to see if you can find a full power Peq15 at Pile C, D-Ball D2, D-Ball I2, any other legitimately made IR device, even the HoloSun offerings, I would recommend over buying one of these. Another thing I wanted to touch on really quick is that I can't confirm this, but I'm fairly certain that all of the internals and everything on all of the different Somogear models are the same. I have a few friends who have Somogears as well, the true Peq15 clone, the Peq15 UHP clone, I have the LA5 clone, and I'm fairly certain that the laser diodes and the wiring and all of that stuff inside of these units is all the same across the board. I know a lot of people are really hyped for the Somogear NGAL to come out because everybody wants an NGAL, but I really truly believe that it's just going to be the internals of this ripped out and repackaged into an NGAL type housing. So if you were on the wait list or you want an NGAL, again, I would say only purchase it if you're going to get it for aesthetic purposes, or, you know, if you just can't afford anything else. So with all that being said, guys, I don't have too much more to tell you about the Somogear Peq15 LA5 clone. I really wish I could sit here and tell you that I recommend it and that I think you should go out and buy one, but I just simply can't recommend it. There's a couple use cases like we talked about earlier where I think you could buy one of these and get away with it, but by and large, as a general rule, I would say stay away from the Somogear Peq15. Thanks so much for watching. If you have any video recommendations, leave them down in the comment section below. We do have an Instagram account at Civilian Perspective. Go follow us there. We also have recently started streaming on Kick. So if you are on Kick and like watching streamers, come and join the chat sometime. Say what's up. We'd love to have you. And that's it, guys. See you later. Bye.